We are recording already. Hello, beautiful people of the world. Today we are here to stream Streamer Lore. It's time for Streamer Lore Part 2. I'm gonna move myself up a little bit. No, I'm not. Yeah, I had a really fun time streaming this a couple of days ago. Like I said, I've been saying this a lot actually. I was kind of nervous about it, but I think it went quite well. I watched a bit of it over. It's quite a long video. I have to say, I really feel like. Oh, actually, real quick. I actually have to say, I feel like I simultaneously was too easy on Vaush at the beginning and delivered a very, what would I say, uh, surface level criticism near the end. I wish I got a little bit more in depth, although I really don't know how I would have done things differently. Um, I was really interested in letting Vaush develop his epistemological and ontological arguments, and I really didn't know how to dispute them. Not that, like, I'm not even sure how much of that was, like, super disputable. Anyway, we're going to be getting into some more media stuff today. And yeah, Stream Alert Part 2. Let's go. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're having a great day. I got some water. I got some coffee. And it is a beautiful May 7th afternoon. Oh, someone's already here. Thanks for tuning in, man. How's it going? Awesome. Let's get started. Oh, I hope the audio was good. I lowered my mic volume a little bit too, by the way. I thought, I gotta stop asking you guys, by the way. You have no idea what good audio quality sounds like. I thought that I really overloaded the mic a bunch yesterday. Anyway.
So a little while ago, I did a video called Politics 101, which was actually a redo of an older and worse video, which was also called Politics 101. And I guess I'm going to call this one Politics 102. One of the questions that I get really, really often is, what does X term mean?
Yeah, I'm not really interested in definitions out of Vaush here. I'm really interested in political philosophy and policy positions. I'm not sure what the best place to find that stuff is, but obviously Politics 101, Politics 102 are probably a pretty good place to start with Vaush.
Time I get this, like, what does Nazbol mean?
I love a suggestion, though.
Seriously.
Also, I think that's like a fascist. I still don't know. I'm not chronically online enough yet to be part of to have all the streamer lingo.
What does fascism mean? Like, actually, what does liberal mean? What does neoliberal mean? I get these all the time.
Also, how long are we going to be here? An hour and 47 minutes. Oh, jeez.
What I thought was, I was thinking, do I, like, conjure a list? Like, do I write out, like, 40 terms I'm just going to define dryly? And then I thought, actually, no. What if I just did it live with you guys?
This might be nasty. This might get boring.
That's true. What if we just did it live? Why don't you just give me terms?
Let's take a look at these.
Why don't you just give me terms?
Liberal, conservative, libertarianism, state capitalism.
Look, it's like a a little back and forth.
This will be interesting.
Doing it together. Anyway,
this will be interesting, actually. This will be more interesting than the other video, I think.
I trust you. You'll do the time.
Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I got a haircut. Real quick. Do this again. Fresh cut. Check me out. I actually think he kind of screwed it up a little bit. This hair, part of my hair keeps, like, foofing off, but who cares? Oh, I almost did it again. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. Bam. There you go, folks. All right, thanks for tuning in. Let's get into it.
Stamp for every little point, so if anyone wants to
hope you're having a good day,
just say, like,
also,
I
thanks for tuning in, new guy.
And then you see right there, oh, it's at this point in the video. Click there. All right, let's talk about it, folks, okay? Are you ready? Okay? Let's, best as I can. I don't actually know the definition of every single term used in politics. I don't think anyone
Yeah,
does.
for Politics 102, this is a really weird way to take it. Really weird place to take it. Like I said, political philosophy or policy positions, but let's go with definitions.
I don't know what sewer socialism is. I still don't know what a TIF is. So we're going to have to work within the limited confines of my low intellect, okay? So I'm going to open with the two ones that people, I guess, use most often in general media, okay? You ready for it? Okay.
I'm not going to correct all these definitions, by the way. He'll be much better at defining these terms than me, I think, due to his high level of experience.
The first one is liberal. When people talk about what a liberal is, or what liberalism is generally, there are two definitions, a colloquial one and one that's, I guess, a little bit more politically accurate. Some people use liberal to mean, like, anyone vaguely on the left. That's really common with conservatives in this country, and that's just not a very helpful term. What liberal means, generally, are people who adhere to the ideology of liberalism, which emerged from the Enlightenment and is
he gave a good definition of liberalism yesterday.
Associated with a set of ideas, including, among others, democracy, free trade, laissez-faire capitalism, civil rights, that sort of thing. Basically, most countries today on Earth are informed in some way by the Enlightenment and by liberalism. The economic system that it's paired with is usually capitalism, because capitalism is meant to be sort of an evocation of these principles of freedom and egalitarianism. And politically, liberal governments tend to defer to things like constitutions, like democracy, a republic, representative interests of the population being represented in government, that sort of thing. Liberalism is today by far the most
Yeah, that's pretty
influential
much what he said
political
yesterday, isn't it?
ideology. A lot of people think liberalism is like this hard stop wall, and then like past that you have a bunch of other definitions. It's not actually true. There are elements of liberalism that feed into fascism, and there are elements of liberalism that feed into socialism.
Yeah.
So, for example, the ideas of democracy and egalitarianism are ones that are very typically evoked by socialists, and those are liberal ideals. And when it comes to fascists, the obsession with private property and with capitalist enterprise and with, well, they wouldn't call this that, I guess, but antagonism between people of different economic classes, that also tends to feed into the way that fascism comes about. So really, liberalism
I disagree there as
encompasses
well.
a lot,
Like I said,
and it can lead into
yeah.
a lot.
I don't think that I don't think the fascists are super into private property rights or individual rights for that matter.
I don't think it's like an exclusively positive or negative thing.
Doesn't
When
make
it
them very
comes
close to capitalists.
conservatism, what does conservative mean? This definition really isn't as clear cut. Usually people just mean conservative to
This will be
like
interesting.
a reactionary of some kind, somebody who believes there's something in the past that they want to preserve. But that doesn't always end up really describing conservative behaviors. There are conservatives, for example, who want to push towards something that's never really existed before. We see that all the time with the way this country is run. The abolition of, say, for example, private schooling, or sorry, not private schooling, public schooling, the deference of everything to the free market, that's not an old idea. That's kind of like a new thing, but conservatives push for it anyway. Here's the definition that I
Where
like
did
to
Vaush get this idea that public education is like a founding United States principle? I've never heard anybody say that until like today.
use, okay? And it's the balance between the left and the right. If you want to use conservative to just mean like people who are on the right, I think that's about as good as one you're going to get. For me, and this is very subjective, when I think of somebody who's on the right, I think of somebody who wants to preserve or to promote hierarchy.
Oh yeah.
The idea that different people deserve
Vaush is really into this idea that his politics are about the abolition of hierarchy and that hierarchies are bad, isn't he?
different things in life, that some people's place is above others and some people's place is below others. And this can take a million forms. This can be about gay and straight people, trans and cis people. It can be about economic performance, the wealthiest and the poorest. There are so many ways this can come about. Conservatism is about promoting and defending.
When he says hierarchy, he literally just means inequality. I think. I hope I'm not being too unfair there. Oh, yeah, the other thing is, I felt like I was kind of unfair to him a bunch of times yesterday. I don't know, like I said, I feel like an important part of, like, streamer lore, quote-unquote, about what the series should be is coming to these creators with a more open mind and not, like, trying to shit on them right away. But also, what the hell with this definition of conservatism as the promotion of all hierarchies and hierarchies as defined by power inequities?
Those systems. Yeah, a natural order of sorts that needs to be preserved.
JP
And
pills.
you see this all the time in conservative policy. Pretty much all policy that Republicans push for today in America is conservative in the sense that it seems to either preserve or exacerbate some kind of inequality. On the other hand, when I say something's on the left, I say the opposite, that it's a push for
Dude, oh
egalitarianism.
god. Left's good, right bad. Man, it really is that simple for this guy sometimes.
In an effort
I was really hoping for a little bit more nuance.
to flatten the hierarchy, to make it less uneven, less hierarchical. So those are really vague general definitions that I tend to use, and I think they explain right and left tendencies better than any other simple definition. But if you want to just say something's conservative, I would just say it's to the right, or it's promoting a hierarchy. So that's liberal and conservative. Put down flatly, I defer to all of you.
At least he was consistent with his. I'd say that's pretty consistent with what exactly he said yesterday.
Hit me with it.
At least he works.
wanna see
At least
terms.
he's right that he
What is
tries to work from
classical
first principles.
liberalism? Classical liberalism
Okay.
generally just refers to the original ideology of liberal philosophers. So classical liberals tend to defer back to Enlightenment thinkers for political and economic solutions to today's problems. Of course, there are a lot of people who will say they're classical liberals when in reality they just mean they don't actually know what liberalism is. So, libertarianism. Libertarianism is a big one.
Is he going to
So,
tell us that libertarianism is a left-wing ideology here? I love it when people do this.
libertarianism originally
Yep.
was a left-wing
Classic.
term. You're not going to guess this, but the word libertarianism was actually about maximizing liberty. That's what it came from. And the reason why this is fundamentally like a leftist principle.
Not an ideology founded by John Stuart Mill or John Locke, but clearly by somebody different.
I've actually read Marx, I say.
Marx,
not read much.
the founder of libertarianism.
What Marx was concerned about first and foremost was freedom. The idea that everyone in society, workers, everyone, should have maximum freedom. The ability to the greatest possible extent, pursue what they wanted to do in life. That's what libertarianism used to be about. Lefties used to promote that to the greatest possible extent. However,
infamous libertarian, Karl Marx. Straight face, by the way, this entire thing. Also, no mention of John Stuart Mill or John Locke.
Libertarianism, or right libertarianism, depending on how you define it, is a corruption of those ideas. And I say corruption very literally because the people.
When did libertarianism start, Vaush?
Literally bragged about taking it away from lefties. And
sorry, I gotta hear that again. I got a little bit too triggered. How is Marx libertarian? Yeah. Oh, hey, man. Thanks for coming back. You were here yesterday, right? Oh, I gotta make sure I got the stream on the stream chat on the right side. Yeah, I do. Perfect. You were here yesterday. Yeah. Thanks for seeing you. And yeah, I fucking agree with you. Marx is not a libertarian at all, and I don't think that libertarianism is a left-wing ideology. This is a hard miss. Although this chapter is actually going to go on for quite a bit longer, so we'll see what else he says.
Or right libertarianism.
Oh, dude, yeah. Thanks for. I don't think it's a very nice haircut, but I'm glad you like it. Also, let's just show it off one more time, and then we'll be done. Bam, 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 bam. Oh yeah, check this out too. Got clean cut. Okay, back to business.
Depending on how you define it, is a corruption of those ideas. And I say corruption very literally because the people who co-opted that term literally bragged about taking it away from lefties.
Okay, I missed it again.
And right libertarianism just basically seems to be about eliminating government intervention to the greatest possible extent, with the exception of the police, military, and protecting private property rights. That really seems to be it. Every libertarianism has a different set of definitions for what they believe in, you know?
Yep, not like leftists who all have a universal definition for all their terms. And yeah, leftists are just about maximizing personal freedom.
Seriously. And anarcho-capitalists tend to just take that to an even further extreme. Some anarcho-capitalists call themselves minarchists, which means they don't want any state at all except for the police and the military, which... So you want to keep, like, the most forceful elements of the state, but get rid of everything else? Okay. But in my experience, libertarian and anarcho-capitalists tend to be used really interchangeably by people who subscribe to either idea. It really...
I disagree.
I guess just depends on to what extent you want to eliminate the presence of the government. Now, I don't think that right libertarianism is real libertarianism, in large part because...
Of course not.
The point of original leftist libertarianism was freedom.
Who is the original leftist libertarian, Vaush? Citation needed. I cited the founders of my ideology multiple times in the past few minutes.
From hierarchy. I mean, liberty. Whereas anarcho-capitalists, people who subscribe to either idea, it really, I guess, just depends on to what extent you want to eliminate the presence of the government. Now, I don't think that right libertarianism is real libertarianism, in large part because the point of original leftist libertarianism was freedom from hierarchy. I mean, liberty. Whereas anarcho-capitalism and right libertarianism defers a lot of power by default to corporate entities. We saw how this played out back in the old days of homesteading in corporate towns. If you don't really have much law in an area, you just let private enterprises use free exchange and, free association to determine employment and...
Yeah, right-leaning libertarianism only started in America in the 19th century in company towns.
You end up forming relations that are basically identical to feudalism. It's actually possible to...
This is brain dead. This is brain dead. So, libertarianism is when no government.
To arrive at feudalism with nothing but free association.
In the 19th century. Come on, man.
Libertarian term for contracts and modes of engagement, which are based entirely on, like, mutual self-interest and consent. But you can arrive at feudalism purely through free association depending on
Are you serious?
how much property and power one side starts out with. Hopefully that makes sense.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
So
Interesting
I think that
qualification there at the end.
anarcho-capitalism, libertarianism, in the ways they tend to be described and evoked, they tend to fall similarly on a spectrum. What about progressive and reactionary?
Wow, are we done? We're
Progressive
almost
and
done.
reactionary, honestly, I just think are used
Excuse me.
synonymously with left or right, respectively, though in line with social issues. A progressive person is a person who wants the abolition of hierarchies in social issues. A reactionary is a person who wants additional hierarchy or to preserve existing hierarchy in social issues. I think that one's fairly straightforward.
Damn.
It's basically just the identity-based line of right versus left. Let's see.
Damn.
State capitalism. State.
Wow, we're done. Well, I think that is probably going to be the dumbest thing we're going to hear Vaush say in the next 2 hours. Maybe I'll be wrong, but jeez, what a complete pigeonholing of libertarianism. And yeah, he didn't justify the left-wing origins of libertarianism at all.
State capitalism has a couple of used.
Marx was his only ideological reference, who was in no way, shape, or form a libertarian. That's a joke.
But the most common one that
This
I
will be
see,
interesting.
and the one that I like to use most, is a authoritarian state, which is capitalist in enterprise. It has mostly free trade, private ownership of property, property relations, that sort of thing. But the interests and the productive elements of those capitalist enterprises are done in the service of the state. Think of it as capitalism with extra nationalism sprinkled on top of it.
Okay.
So there are different ways of expressing this. For example, there was a ton of privatization in Nazi Germany. In fact, the term privatization was coined for what happened in Nazi Germany. But do you think those corporations had the ability to make what they wanted and sell to who they wanted? No. You got to be a powerful business autocrat.
Might not be private property rights or capitalism if you can't choose your customer.
As long as you were serving the interests of the Nazi state. And I feel very similarly about the Soviet Union, though not exactly in the same way. In the Soviet Union, you have state capitalism in a slightly different way. You preserve a fundamentally hierarchical system of economic production, so you have party officials in the Soviet Union dictating.
I'm really excited to hear Vaush in the next 2 hours say how he's going to abolish all hierarchical systems and not use a hierarchical system to prevent their reestablishment.
Labor distribution and the way these workplaces are run, and the wealth and power of these workplaces are deferred to the economic upper crust. But all of this is done in the service of the state. Those are two different kinds of state capitalism. Maybe it'd be better to have like two more distinct terms for them, but I think that they kind of fall in line similarly.
I'm not really going to engage there. I don't know enough about the economics of the Soviet Union and the economics of Nazi Germany to weigh on how their implementations of quote-unquote state capitalism differ. Definitely say that the Nazis were more capitalist than the Soviet Union. That's a terrible comparison.
China falls somewhere between them, by the way. The Chinese market is absolutely a form of state capitalism, because as rampantly industrious and capitalistic as China is, at the end of the day, the Chinese Communist Party has an unbelievable amount of authority when it comes to dictating the economic production in a way that benefits the state. So hence, state capitalism. Private property relations, capitalist hierarchy, but you're doing it for the state, baby. You're doing it for the country, okay? China is not state capitalist, it's incredibly privatized. You have to listen again. Privatization can be a part of state capitalism. That's the first thing that I said. It's
also, don't you there's still no private property in China, right? Can't you only get a 99-year lease on land?
That the state capitalist enterprise directs the privatization.
Also, that wasn't a great definition, but state capitalism is a really complicated term to define, and I think I would make very similar mistakes.
Towards the interests of the state. And if you don't think the CCP has the ability to keep corporations in line to make sure they're benefiting the broader interests of the CCP, then I have a bridge to sell you. That's one of the reasons they've grown up so big. Talk about social democracy. So social democracy, generally speaking, is a term used to refer to, this sounds so patronizing, but it's like nice capitalism. Capitalism has a lot of externalities, and a lot of harm is done by the ways in which the wealthy and the poor, the owners and the workers interact with each other. Social democracy is essentially, what if we maintain the basic economic elements of capitalism. But then we use the taxation that we derive from the population to put into social programs and wealth redistribution programs. And basically, you keep the economic system, but then you use the incredible wealth derived from it and redirect it towards the interests of the population. Social democracy, in my
Okay, I
opinion,
think
is
we're only gonna watch a couple more of these, and then we're gonna be done. And we're gonna skip right into the Tim Pool appearance. Because, yeah, a lot of these are terms that we don't really need, and a lot of these are terms... Ooh, there's socialism with China characteristics. We're going to definitely get that one. Race realist. Intersectionality, that's going to take a long time. Maybe we should hear Vaush's definition of intersectionality. Gender abolitionism, neutralism, populism, accelerationism. That's interesting. Super long time talking about fascism. That's the longest section of the video. Ecofascism, atomization... Ooh, Marxism, Leninism. Interesting. We definitely don't need to watch all these. I think we'll hear Nazbol, just because I said I didn't know what that means earlier, and I'm pretty sure it's just a regular fascist.
What a tanky is. A Nazbol is it means
Tanky's just a Marxist-Leninist, right?
It's national Bolshevik, but that's
colloquially
what it tends to refer to is something called a Strasserite, or a left-wing Nazi. That seems oxymoronic, but what it really refers to, there was a wing of the original Nazi party that was under,
I don't actually think we need this. This seems like such an ideological minority that I'm surprised we actually spent any time talking about these people at all on the internet. Yeah, we will skip ahead. Let's hear the difference between communism and socialism, according to Vaush.
People like that. What's the difference between communism and socialism? Marx didn't really...
This is a much better way to... We can get to this video way fucking faster if we do this. It took me 2 hours to get through a 1 hour video yesterday, and if we kept that pace up here, we'd be here a long ass time. And I actually want to play some fucking games after the stream today, so...
distinguish between the two, but just like one's lower form of the other. But as I understand it, socialism is comprised of 2 fundamental components, okay? These are the 2 big ones. And there's no hard line for when a state becomes socialist, but these are the criteria that tend to matter the most. One of them is public ownership of the means of production, or collective ownership. The working class controls the industry in that country, okay? Now, there are different ways of achieving that. That can be a highly democratic state with a lot of decommodification, so the state owns...
That's what Vaush wants, right?
That can...
Oh, no, the state can't own the industry. That is state capitalism and is the promotion of hierarchy. Nope, no for Vaush.
Be worker cooperatives, which is my personal preference. There are a lot of ways to handle that. And the second major component...
Sounds pretty hierarchical to me, Vaush.
...of socialism is decommodification, or what is sometimes referred to as abolition of the commodity form. You can break that down. Abolition means to get rid of. Commodity form means economic production for the sake of making commodities. That is to say, you produce things to sell them. So if you eliminate the commodity form and you have collective control of the means of production, you have socialism. Are there any hard lines here? I don't really know. And I don't really think so.
Interesting.
That's what people tend to look for.
Interesting.
Tradcon versus neocon.
Wow, we're done. Okay, well, I wish we got a little bit deeper there, but geez. That was interesting.
Tradcon
Come on, dude.
Usually a term used to refer to people, colloquially, who idealize the social...
I don't think we need Tradcon versus neocon. Don't think we need critical race theory. I don't think we need technocracy. Meritocracy. Vaush just can say that it's a lie. Let's actually hear that. How meritocracy just promotes false hierarchy, right?
Can be very, very helpful. How about a meritocracy? A meritocracy just refers to a society or to a system that...
Oh, by the way, I would not be able to handle this. I know I'm crapping on Vaush a little bit here, but there's no way that I'd be able to go through all these definitions and do them better than him.
That is where people's positions, where the benefits that people receive are determined by their performance, by their merit. A meritocracy, it's determined by their merit. I think most people would agree that a meritocracy is a utopian system. The idea that everyone gets what they deserve as a political system is achievable in the real world is ridiculous. It's self-defining.
Just got to eliminate hierarchy.
What is a meritocracy? Well, everyone gets what they deserve. How do you determine who get what? What? Well, whatever they end up with is what they would have deserved because they get what they deserve. Wow,
If there's
that
no
sounds
hierarchy,
really
everyone gets the
cool.
same
How do you do
amount.
that?
It's really a sweet idea, isn't it?
If a person ever says that we live in a meritocratic system, you are legally allowed to tie their shoelaces together when they're looking away so that they trip when they try to walk. We do not live in a meritocratic system. Nobody does. Political and economic systems are not meritocratic. There is a huge amount of luck and bias and cultural and hereditary influence that plays into people's success in life. It's probably always going to be that way to some extent, but there are ways to alleviate that. The
Sure,
closest
I
things
would
that
say in 2022, under liberal capitalism, we live in the most meritocratic society by far, and it's not even close. And I would say that all the alternative political experiments to increase the meritocracy in the way that Vaush wants to have demonstrably and empirically failed to do so.
we have to meritocracies are probably like the Olympics, athletic events, where the most talented people, the strongest, the fastest, the most agile, legitimately are the people who end up doing the best and getting the most accolades. Even then, there are biases in the accessibility of these athletic fields. Different people have different levels of accessibility to sports because they had more or less wealth early on. They were around or not around people who
Okay, we can be
encouraged
done.
their habits. It's really, there's no such thing as
How's market socialism
what is
different from state
market
capitalism?
socialism? Market socialism is
This video is way more fun
an
this way.
economy which has achieved one of the two preconditions of a
Ah,
socialist
okay.
society. Namely, you have succeeded in turning over the means of production to the
Wait. You cannot decommodify the economy without controlling the means of production. You cannot do one of those things without the other.
workers. Uh,
How are you? There's no universe where decommodification can exist without some system of alternative control over the means of production.
I like this through worker cooperatives, but you still have a market economy. So market socialism. Market socialism is, in my opinion, a very effective, plausible, and realistic transitionary step towards full socialism, where we work to further decommodify.
That's interesting.
That being said, I do think that markets have a place in any society, and that it's really about finding ways to maximize their utility and minimize their negative externalities. Why do people say that's not socialism?
Yeah, I don't think you. I don't know. I see what he means a little bit about the transitory thing. I'm just trying to like imagine a world where you can have 100% decommodification or 100% uh, ownership of the means of production and not have the other. And I can't picture that. First of all, I can't picture a world where you have both. But
A lot of people enjoy
I can imagine
and
it.
purity testing when it comes to the definitions of things like socialism because, and I'm going to be totally real here, socialists get so few L's in the real world that they don't have much to do other than gatekeep other socialists to feel better than people who they could otherwise be working with.
Yeah, socialism is such a consistent and persuasive ideology that the reason socialists spend so much time infighting is because of how correct they are, not because of the inapplicability of their ideology. That was amazing, Vaush. That was amazing. I'm actually so fascinated that we got to hear that together.
Unfortunately, given that there are no
That was like his like real moment. He was like actually being honest. He qualified that. He was like, "I'm going to be honest here. The reason we spend so much time arguing over ideology is because of how great it is." And
functioning socialist states
funny.
on Earth right now, I guess they don't really have anything real to root for, so we all have to fight with each other, you know. The neo prefix just means contemporary, so neo-Marxist may be technically correct. Yeah, but there's no term neo-Marxist. Like neoliberal doesn't just mean liberal but new, like a liberal who's like.
Oh, this is
young or
interesting.
whatever. It means something. Neo-Marxist doesn't have that.
I kind of agree with the chatter there. Disagree with Bosch. Like, I agree with Bosch that there is no consistent definition of a neo-Marxist. I'm really not sure there's a consistent definition of neoconservatism or neoliberalism. Although maybe now that we are just starting to consign those ideologies to the past, we haven't really come up with their quote unquote sequels yet. So it's a little bit difficult to describe what they are right now. I think it's much harder to define what a neo-Marxist is than a neoliberal.
That like a preset definition. I mean, you could call anything neo then if you really wanted to, because everything's new in the current moment. Anarcho-syndicalism and anarcho-communism.
Oh wait, are you the anarcho-syndicalist that was here yesterday? It'd be really funny to hear that guy get mad at him. Let's hear it.
Okay, at this point, we're going to arrive at a problem, and the problem is that there are like 27 near-identical ideologies that begin with anarcho, and I feel like arguing over the differences between them. Every breath you spend on describing differences between them is a breath that you could spend fighting for the working class.
Yep.
But As I understand it,
Yep. The left wing is just dripping with so much ideological consistency that it's just so beautiful that we can all have these separate ideologies.
anarcho-syndicalism and anarcho-communism are not mutually exclusive. Anarcho-communism is just you use anarchist methods of organization and arrangement and political activism to achieve a communist society. And anarcho
I feel like this is sort of what Vaush needs a little bit. I don't know how he wants to decommodify labor without hierarchies. Like, how are you going to create a system of worker co-ops that supplants capitalism without a system of hierarchical enforcement? I think he kind of is an anarcho-communist or an anarcho-socialist.
syndicalism
Syndicalist,
means
pardon
to
me.
attempt to achieve an anarchist society through a syndicalist framework. And syndicates are basically just mega unions. So you would argue then that the path towards anarchism for an anarcho-syndicalist would be that you basically have like unions, and those unions like band together into like broader trade unions and like entire
Yeah, this has got to be what he's looking for. I'm really interested to
industry
see what he's going to say here.
unions.
Sorry for
and that
pausing.
become viable political organizations.
This has got to
unto
be it
themselves,
for him,
and
right?
that's through these like big political constructs that are designed to represent the interests of the workers that you achieve anarchism. Lovely idea, right? Anyway, these aren't mutually exclusive.
Wait!
You know, you're going
Wait!
to find there are many.
What do you mean, lovely idea, dude? Oh,
they
God.
are basically the same place.
So no, we're not actually. Why can't anarcho-syndicalism work under your ideology, man? It seems to be exactly what you want. Am I going crazy?
What is a chauvinist? I feel like
I don't care about this. Oh, it's so funny that I said I don't care about the definition of chauvinism. That's kind of fucking ironic, isn't it? We're having a fun time today on stream, folks. I don't think we need feudalism versus confederalism. Also, yeah, it looks like he spends as much time defining feudalism today as he did yesterday. Pretty sure he misses the same way. I don't think we need to talk about Zionism, although that could be interesting. Paleoconservatism. I don't think we need that either, honestly. Democratic socialism. I'm trying to figure out where Vaush is here. So yeah, let's keep listening to his leftist definitions.
what is a democratic socialist? A democratic socialist is a socialist who does not want to be mistaken for an authoritarian.
Oh, I figured out what we're gonna do.
That's pretty much it. That's really the only thing, you know.
Before the Tim Pool, we'll watch Vaush do that left values test. I think I started a bit of it and I didn't get to finish it, or I watched the entire thing. That'll give us his policy positions better before we get to the Tim Pool thing.
Really just an optics thing.
Also, thanks for being here.
Socialism with Chinese characteristics, Vaush. What is it? In my opinion, if anyone ever uses the term socialism with blank characteristics, what they actually mean is not socialism. What they actually mean is, I like this country, so I can't say it's socialism because it's not. So
That's weird. I consider Vaush to be a pretty intelligent socialist. He should know that socialism with Chinese characteristics is kind of integral to. It's the entire constitutional basis for the alternative Marxist-Leninist experiment that is the People's Republic of China. I think, they recognized, or Mao tried to recognize, and this is why he had so much beef with Stalin, that Marxist-Leninism is insufficient to industrialize and bring about a global revolution. And so Mao was kind of way more willing to throw out the book, like the book being Marxist theory, when it came to establishing his state, and that is socialism with Chinese characteristics. Now, after Mao, I'm actually doing my own definition here. Look at me. Now, after Mao passed, I can't remember who's in the middle, but like the next major guy to get to the helm of the PRC was Deng Xiaoping, who incorporated Deng Xiaoping thought along with Mao Zedong thought into the Chinese constitution. And Deng Xiaoping brought about this state capitalism, socialism, market socialism mix with these special economic zones in Shenzhen, Shanghai, and I think there's maybe 2 or 3 other like major ones that he started. And this incorporation of like neo-capitalism is what we could maybe call socialism with Chinese characteristics in the 21st century. And now, just recently, Xi Jinping thought was also incorporated into the Chinese constitution. I think in 2017, or maybe not 2017 or 2019. Okay, hopefully that was a better definition than what Vaush is about to say.
it's socialism with X characteristics, which usually what actually means is that it's a social democracy with like very few hints of socialism, but they have a red flag.
Yeah, that was just a complete hard miss there, huh? It's fine. Well, he did so many definitions, and like I just said, I can do any of these as well.
Don't think much of this term. Define monarchism: a system with a monarch. I'll leave
That's
you
funny.
all to fill in the spaces there.
Intersectionality. Do we want to hear
What is
intersectionality? We'll spend a long time here.
Intersectionality
Let's
is
do it.
a sociological framework, a very essential one. I will always go to bat defending how based intersectionality is. It's a framework which essentially says there are a million ways in which every individual, in which every
How are we going to account for intersectionality in our ideological system that creates a perfect world without hierarchy? I'm ready for this. Look, guys, look. We're at 5150. Oh, look, guys, we have 5 minutes to figure out how we're going to do this. I'm really excited. Let's hear it.
in which every person, every system benefits and harms people. Me, for example, I'm white. Most of the time, that's to my benefit. Almost always, that's to my benefit. I'm straight. Wait. Oh God. Oh my God. I'm buying into the memes right now. Don't listen. I'm not straight. Okay. No. The mask came off. No.
I don't know what we're talking about here.
I'm pansexual, which benefits because there are lots of cuties out there, but sometimes that can come back to bite me. I'm American. I'm autistic. I'm 6'2". I have fairly
Vaush is taller than me.
features. I have this and that. I'm fat. I'm whatever. There are so many categories that you can put me in. And sometimes they benefit me and sometimes they don't. And for me personally, most of the time they benefit me. But intersectionality is about taking a look at all of those things holistically and saying you are affected by all of these systems.
This is a very key part of having the sociological imagination that allows you to quantify every single human being on Earth into something that you can mold to form your utopia. It's actually incredible that he's just saying all this in front of us right now.
All of these conditions, all of these terms, these biases, these categories. And the only way to understand you is to understand the ways in which they interact. That was the failure of old social justice movements, some of them at least. Second wave feminism was pro-woman, but it tended to be pretty racially limited. Pretty much just limited to white women, white middle-class women. But tell me how you...
This is a good critique of second wave feminism, actually. I consider myself to be much more of a second wave feminist than a third wave feminist, and I don't know why second wave feminism ended up developing that way and becoming a majority white movement and not becoming a class movement like it could have, especially considering that second wave feminism really picked up in the post-war period, right? That totally would have created a class mechanism that should have maybe more unified feminism in when the second wave started.
Was feminism.
Sorry, I lost track of my thoughts there a little bit.
For white middle-class women. Not really. I don't think so. And in order to understand feminism and understand the ways in which to address gendered issues, you can't just understand gender, can you? You have to understand race too. Because black women and white women don't go through the same
being
issues.
A straight dude, you did it.
Black men and white men don't. Okay?
Yep.
There are variable differences, ways in which these systems interact to produce different outcomes. And that's why intersectionality is valid.
Are we almost
Somebody earlier, they ask,
what if there were crazy. Come with me on a journey, intersectional people. What if there were so many intersectional differences between people that it was definitionally and calculatively impossible to quantify them all? And so, if you wanted to undo all the intersectional biases and unfair inequities in our society, you would need a system that quantify them as individuals, not as multifaceted members of collectives. Because, yeah, finding another person on the entire planet like Vaush and accounting for his intersectional privileges and biases is impossible. To conduct such an experiment across 340 million Americans, it's not going to happen.
Intersectionality seems so...
This is why intersectionality is a completely insufficient way to describe the problems or solutions to the inequities of our society. And yeah, Vaush is just totally fine with it.
Obvious to me. Why do so many people have a problem with it? What are the criticisms of it? I'm going to make a very definitive statement. There are no good criticisms of it.
Okay,
That's
good.
Right. I'm coming out and saying it. There are no coherent criticisms of intersectionality in principle. In its application, obviously, applications can always be
okay.
But in principle, the idea...
Yeah, well, what if it was impossible to applicate your system?
that
What if it's
understanding a
definitionally and
person
calculatively impossible to applicate your
and
system?
their problems comes down to understanding the many, many ways in which they have societal advantages, disadvantages, and the ways they interact? That to me is a bulletproof theory. Really, the ways to critique it are only really to expand upon it, to make it more precise, more definitive in its
Oh
prescriptions.
God,
But
yeah,
the
wow. You
fundamental
know, I really have to appreciate his ideological consistency. This is exactly where you would expect someone who said everything we heard yesterday and everything we heard today to go. And also, it's fucking genius. It's actually fucking amazing of him to just go, you know, my ideology is completely bulletproof.
principle there, I think, is just al dente. Okay? Just al dente, in my opinion. All right?
Come on, man.
What about gender abolitionism?
Yeah, we're done. Okay,
Gender
perfect. There's nothing wrong with intersectionality.
abolitionism is an ideology shared by people who
What the fuck
believe
was that?
gender is a largely antiquated
Damn.
social construct, and we would all
Sorry
do
for getting
better
triggered
without
there.
it. And usually, gender abolitionists
What
say,
the fuck was that? What the fuck? I kind of gotta walk that off. That was such a hard miss.
this is not something we can do immediately. It's more like in 500 years, maybe people won't care as much about gender and we'll all just stop using it as a way of describing each other. It's already happening.
I've never heard of
We
accelerationism.
probably want accelerationism. Ooh, that's a big one. Accelerationism is a radical ideology, mostly used on the left, but not always. Sometimes it's
Excuse me.
used by people on the right. And the idea behind accelerationism is that the best way to achieve the society that you want is to accelerate the contradictions within the current one. So an accelerationist socialist might
This is
say,
like vanguardism, eh?
hey, capitalism is cringe. The best way to get rid of it and to establish socialism is not to reform and fix and patch up the systems today and slowly elect people to slowly
Yeah, this
go
is
about and
vanguardism.
make this change and that. No. An accelerationist would say this capitalist economy needs to be driven into the ground. It just needs to be pile driven into the dirt. Gotta push it right down. It needs to blow up. We need
I think we're
to
good.
push
I think we're good.
all
And
the problems with this country.
I don't really feel qualified to explain vanguardism because I'm not a socialist and I haven't studied the two revolutions, the Russian Revolution and the Chinese Revolution, where I believe vanguardism were used to their greatest extent. So I don't really want to comment on it. I guess I'll just let Vaush define acceleration.
To their breaking point until they explode. And
No, actually, vanguardism is just a revolutionary vanguard taking, like Vaush just said, taking responsibility for the revolution, and instead of politely increasing class consciousness, deliberately accelerating events by like creating false flag operations or committing terrorism or things like that to accelerate the onset of a socialist or communist revolution. Should we let Vaush finish this?
then we will be the ones to pick up the pieces. Now, I have many criticisms of accelerationism generally. I think that it's a very privileged idea because the damage to society
we're
will
done.
disproportionately affect many marginalized groups. And I also think it's ineffective because at the moment, certainly in America with the left wing, we don't have the power or numbers
I think
to
we're
pick
done.
up
We'll
anything
skip to the
from
wrap up
that
after this.
we don't have that leverage. So in reality, we'd be tanking a system. Well, why? In my experience, out of anger. I think that a lot of accelerationists say what they say and want what they want because they dislike the system and want to see it burn, but they're not so concerned with the logistical challenges of fixing things up afterwards. The only, caveat that I would add to this is that I like, as Marx did, economic accelerationism. Like, for example, a general strike.
I think we're done. I defined this way faster than needed. All right. Well, those are the definitions that Vaush gave us. I know I didn't watch this whole video, and I actually think I did a pretty good job reacting to it. I don't know. It's tough to see how much time we spent on it. Like, I don't think we spent 22 minutes watching this video. I think we spent a little bit longer. I don't think we need any of these other definitions. Maybe his definition of rainbow capitalism might be interesting, but we all know rainbow capitalism, right? It's just corporations catering to social justice causes to increase their sales. Yeah. I think the next thing we're going to do is watch the left values test real quick. I'm just going to bring it up. Bam. Perfect. Just for the record, yeah. I got 23 minutes into this video before. Oh,
It is
there we go.
this community. We gotta quit fucking around. Why is there so much fucking in this community? We have to stop it. We have to stop right now. We have to take the left values test. It's time. It's time, my friends. Left values, a political compass.
Okay,
test.
let's skip ahead. Okay, sorry.
Reforming capitalist society to achieve better rights for workers is desirable. Yep. Wait. Reforming capitalist society. I see. Tricky words. Oh, no. Yes, it's still desirable. Yes, of course. You should do revolution and reform. You can do both. Revolution is the best way of achieving a social society. Yes. The negative consequences of a revolution generally outweigh
Classic. Do you think so in America, Vaush?
Advantages. Like historically or conceptually?
Yes. Yes. Without question, the negative consequences of almost all revolutions generally outweigh the advantages because most revolutions fail.
Historically, revolutions have been...
And even the revolutions that succeed have dramatically high costs for decades after.
Really mixed bag. I'm going to go with neutral on this one. I believe a good revolution can take place, but historically I have to respect the material fucking consequences. Liberal democracy.
At least we got that.
Democracy is a viable way of achieving a socialist society. No,
disagree, obviously. Oh yeah, big
capital holders will never give up their capital. Never. They will never do it through democracy. A socialist revolution is made inevitable by the conditions of capitalism. I'm not
What do you think, Bot?
Full modernist on this, but for the most part, no, I don't believe this because it could
That's
be a
good.
fascist revolution too.
Oh, that's why. That's why. It's not that like the death of capitalism has been declared for like 150 years and still going completely fucking strong. It's not. It's that fascism is a possible revolution, not that socialism is the inevitable result of capitalism.
Revolution. There's no guarantee it would be socialist.
That was funny.
Workplace democracy within capitalism is an acceptable alternative to a complete socialization of the economy. No. So long as there
Isn't this what you want?
So long as capital, privately owned enterprise exists within an economy, they will seek to rapidly consume whatever democratized workplaces there are. Revolutionary violence is acceptable as long as the final outcome is positive.
Even though, worker co-ops are being like sprung up all across North America, I think they're going to be way more popular. This is a good thing for Vaush and it's a good thing for us.
Yep. Redistributing
just completely missed there, but that's fine.
Wealth away from the wealthy.
What did he say there?
The economy. No. So long as there is
Workplace democracy within capitalism is an acceptable alternative to a complete socialization of the economy.
Capital, privately owned enterprise exists within an economy, they will seek to rapidly consume whatever democratized workplaces there are. Revolutionary...
We have lots of democratized workplaces. Like, there are hundreds of them. And there are thousands of them in Europe.
Violence is acceptable as long as the final outcome is positive. Yep. Redistributing wealth away from...
Yep. Classic. Classic. He said that really quickly. Damn.
From the wealthy through taxes as long as the final outcome is positive. Yep. Redistributing wealth away from the wealthy through acceptable as long as the final outcome is positive. Yep. Redistributing wealth away from the wealthy through taxes is a viable way of defeating inequality. That's probably a soft agree from me. I mean, it does help defeat inequality, but it's not a long-term solution. It helps, yeah, it helps. Modern social democracy is a betrayal of left-wing values.
Like agree, Vaush.
Oppressed people have the right to engage in a violent uprising when all other options have been exhausted. Yep.
At least we're together
Means
there.
of production, such as factories and farms, must be publicly owned. Now, when I say public ownership, I mean ownership by the workers.
How do you want to do it, though?
Not by the state.
How do you want to do it, though?
Now, public can mean either of those two things, but I'm going to go with a strong yes in the hopes that we're talking about direct ownership.
How are you going to do it, though? How are you going to enforce it?
Material conditions and needs are the
We've been here for 4 hours almost. Not 4 hours, 3 hours now, and we still haven't really got a good question on how he wants to establish this decommodified worker co-op world.
dominant drive behind socioeconomic changes. Yes, historical materialism. Socialism can only be fully achieved in developed industrialized societies.
Interesting question for the Marxists out there.
I don't believe No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that's true. I think it's possible. I think capitalism is useful at leading us through industrialization. Um I'm going to go with disagree on this one. Fully achieved.
Interesting.
Soft agree.
I'm not going to comment on this. It's just interesting that Marx thought that the revolution could only come out of highly industrialized capitalist countries like the United States and the United Kingdom, and socialism is almost exclusively developed. Socialist revolutions have almost exclusively developed in deindustrialized poorer nations like the USSR, the PRC, and I can't remember the third country off the top of my head.
According to his abilities,
can't remember what I was going to say.
To his needs is a good principle.
Obviously most socialist countries have come from a lower status of development.
Yeah. It is
possible. What did I say there? What did he miss there?
Each according to his needs is a good principle. Yeah. It is possible to peacefully convince the ruling class to conform to a socialist society. Ha! They didn't tell me they'd be comedy here. Capitalism will induce its own demise through contradictions that result in crisis. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't necessarily believe socialism will follow from capitalism, but I do believe that capitalism has its due date.
I don't know, man. Capitalism keeps changing, keeps adapting. Seems kind of unbeatable so far. Maybe you should just learn to adapt to it instead of trying to abolish it.
Conflict is a force that has influenced much of human history. Yes, class conflict is the influencing force of human history. Yes, absolutely.
No.
The establishment of socialism is a gradual process rather than an instant or rapid one. I'm neutral on this. I think that revolutionary violence is necessary to achieve socialism in a liberal democracy, but after that revolution there would probably be a gradual process of like inducing the policies that would lead to like a...
He's really thought out the consequences of his revolution. You can see that here. It'd probably be gradual, not instant. It would probably be gradual, guys.
Because I'm revolutionary, I'm going to go with a soft this one.
Oh, no. It will be closer to instantaneous establishment of a decommodified world without hierarchy than a transitional one. Okay. That's good. I'm glad we cleared that up, man.
Society is chiefly driven by individuals and ideas.
Pretty sure that was for Vaush, not for me.
Get him out of here. Fucking Hegelians. Get him out of here. Total economic and social equality is realistically possible to achieve. Total economic and social equality. I'm going to assume by this that they don't mean like literally everyone makes the exact same amount of money and everyone has the same amount of respect. What they mean by equality essentially is like true equality of opportunity. Like it's good, it's fair. And by that, I believe it is very, very possible. Yes. An economy is generally...
Let's hear that again. Let's hear that again, folks.
That, I believe, true amount of money. Total economic and social equality is realistically possible to achieve. Total economic and social equality. I'm going to assume by this that they don't mean like literally everyone makes the exact same amount of money and everyone has the same amount of respect. What they mean by equality essentially is like true equality of opportunity. Like it's good, it's fair. And by that, I believe it is very, very possible. Yes. An economy...
Don't use a system of universal consent to establish that, by the way.
Is generally designed better when it is organized bottom up rather than top.
Click strongly agree, Vaush.
Guys, I am sorry. I agree with this. I like markets. I like markets. Markets exist.
You saw that coming.
Actually work at the ground top. Local planners, rather than national planners, are more efficient at running a planned economy. Yes, 100%. I'm pretty sure this is actually research driven right here.
This
If
is
you're running
literally
a
just what he
economy,
just
it's
said.
better than the national planners. Absolutely, yeah. A centrally planned economy based around computers is a concept worth investigating.
Interesting question for Vaush here.
I'm really suspicious about this one. People have talked about developing algorithms. I think it's worth investigating. I think it's worth investigating. I don't think I would like it, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with examining the idea. I'm fine with that.
Interesting.
In underdeveloped societies, a centrally planned economy is the best way to make rapid progress. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's like I don't like it, but yeah, that's a fact, 100%.
Okay.
For a developing country, a centrally planned economy and like strong, what are they called? Protectionist policies are 100% the best way to make rapid progress.
Fascinating.
The
Fascinating how he just referenced empiricism, and I'm pretty sure the quote unquote empirical literature says the exact opposite.
Principles of workplace democracy and self-management are desirable. 100%. That's like my absolutely.
Sorry, what was that?
Democracy and self-management are desirable. 100%. That's like my absolutely. The state can be best defined as a monopoly on violence and oppression. I don't know if that's the best definition of a state.
It's a pretty good one.
The state does not have a monopoly on oppression
at
all. It has a monopoly on violence, but not on oppression. Not even close.
That is actually really interesting.
I'm neutral on this one. I would say yes if it was violence, but the oppression one kills.
Yeah, you almost never hear that. I honestly missed it there.
Actors are perfectly capable. Systemic oppression can exist outside of the state. 100%. I'm going neutral. A highly centralized planned economy is not socialism, but rather state capitalism. True. Do we got any fucking truers in chat? How do we deal with oppression of the proletariat? What if they all worked for an all-powerful authoritarian? True.
Okay. Yeah, just click strongly agree, man. How do you want to do your system, man? How do you want to enforce a system of decommodified labor without any hierarchical enforcement?
Bureaucracy.
Answer this basic question about how you'd implement your ideology before you talk about how bulletproof and great it is, and how about its greatest vulnerabilities, the fact that its adherents can never agree on how ideologically and rhetorically invincible it is.
And inefficiency are always inherent in centrally planned economies. I mean, yeah. Well, you have to have bureaucracy in a centrally planned economy. Okay. Those are thetical to each other. You can't
You gotta click agree, right?
Do that. But market socialism is also capitalism? Shut the fuck up. Everything is everything. Bureaucracy is inherent to centrally planned economies. Inefficiency? I don't think centrally planned economies are particularly efficient. Well, they're efficient in a societal sense. They're good at moving economies forward. I don't think they're good at meeting human need.
I see.
I'll go with a soft agree, though. I don't think that central planning is intrinsically bad. I don't have any intrinsic problem with it.
I see.
It is necessary to establish a dictatorship of the proletariat as a transitionary stage between capitalism and socialism. I mean, yeah, I do agree with that, yeah. So to those of you who don't know, dictatorship of the proletariat doesn't literally mean a dictatorship. It's kind of stupidly named. It just means a society that is run by and for the interests of the proletariat. That's what it means. But it doesn't inherently refer to authoritarianism. But yeah, I agree, yeah. Yeah, dictatorship of the proletariat was terrible marketing. Terrible name.
Hey man, thanks for tuning in. How's
the government should be capable of assigning individuals to workplaces. Nope. Assigning individuals to workplaces? Holy shit. Nope.
How do you want to create the workplaces and enforce your system? I'm going to shut up about this, but he never answers this basic fucking question. Click agree.
Why would you put realistic and desirable in the same
Click agree,
sentence
Vaush.
here?
I feel like this is ideologically consistent for you. Why not? Just use the sociological imagination to transform everyone into something that fits into your World Socialist Republic.
Sorry,
Just account for all their intersectional differences, and it'll be really easy. It'll actually be realistic and desirable to establish a World Socialist Republic after you account for everyone's intersectional differences.
Red Oceania. This is a tanky anti-safe space. Bam.
Also, thank you for tuning in, man. Hope you're having a good day.
Sorry, Red Oceania. You've been caught posting bourgeois propaganda in my chat, and I, as the vanguard of Vaush.gg, am ensuring that you cannot corrupt the proletarian masses with your your counter-revolutionary takes.
Come on, Vaush. Click agree.
Excellent, Orwell's nightmare. Now, anyway, World Socialist Republic is a realistic, desirable goal. I'm gonna go with soft degree on this.
Oh yeah. Oh, obviously.
Realistic in the sense that it can happen, yes. Realistic in the sense that it will happen,
Yeah, 100%.
Nationalism.
That was funny. I'm really glad that he clicked agree. Once again, you have to appreciate the ideological consistency from Vaush.
Patriotism are impulses that are unacceptable in a socialist society. True! Get that shit out of here. Don't even need to think about that. Remember, nationalism and patriotism are ideas designed to keep you alienated from those of the working class in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that shit out of here.
Yep.
The global socialist movement
Yep.
should be led by a single party.
Classic.
No.
I want to hear that again.
No! Get that shit
I'm really getting triggered by the way he says true.
out of here. Don't even need to think about that. Remember, nationalism and patriotism are ideas designed to keep you alienated.
Did the ideas of nationalism and patriotism predate the class divisions that Vaush references? I think it is almost unquestionable that the proletarian bourgeoisie divide that Marx highlights in the 19th century did not exist in the way that Vaush would put it in the 19th century, which actually means that those ideas predate the ideas of alienation, which means that Vaush is logically incorrect here.
From those of the working class.
I'm open to arguing about whether or not the... Am I open? No, I actually am not. I don't think that it's been bourgeoisie versus proletariat for the past 6,000 years. I would say it probably, if it has been since Marx started his work.
Other countries.
You need industrialized capitalism to create a bourgeoisie proletariat divide, and we didn't have industrial capitalism for a long time. As Marx would say, we had feudalism.
Keep that shit out of here. The global socialist movement should be led by a single party or organization.
Disagree?
No.
Yeah.
The global socialist movement? What, would America lead it? Oh, sorry, all the third world nations. You don't get a say in it. America's bringing about socialism today. Well, I do love America. Nope, fuck this.
What does he love about America, I wonder?
Foreign officials have no right to dictate policy.
I'm not trying to ask this in a facetious way, by the way. Like, genuinely, I'm interested in what he would say he loves about this country, about the United States.
Another country? Yeah. Wait, is this like a pro or anti-imperialism take? What? Yeah, don't dictate policy. Now, I want to clarify, I think it's okay for people to protest. Let's say, like, hey, fucking Saudi Arabia, stop peeing on femoids, stop it, stop peeing into the burqa eye hole, because they do that there. I think that's fine, but there's a difference between pushing for social change and dictating policy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with a disagree on this one. Open borders between like-minded socialist countries is desirable.
Pretty basic there. Nothing to say, really. Also, pretty basic there. Nothing to say as well.
Any socialist country should be dedicated to exporting their ideas.
Click agree, Vaush. Click agree, Vaush.
I do believe in internationalism. I do believe that a socialist country should make an effort to export socialism. It depends on how it's done. Are we talking about invading? Are we talking about strong-arming developing nations into accepting economic policies that are favorable to the first socialist nation? Or are we talking about spreading ideas, sending diplomats, trying to encourage them? I'm going to go with a soft agree, because I think without agree...
Stalin, Trotsky, Mao question. Not necessarily Mao. Who would I say would be a third character there? So Trotsky was all about trying to establish a world revolution and starting like pretty much a world war to establish communism and getting it all out of the way right then and there. And Stalin was all about establishing socialism in one country. And then not really using the Soviet Union to lead by example and establish world revolution. Stalin wasn't interested in world revolution, quite evidently, and Trotsky was.
To this, you can't really.
Oh, and the third character that I'd be referencing there would be an incrementalist who is in favor of world revolution much more broadly than Stalin would be, but not through militaristic, violent means like Trotsky was.
Have internationalism, you know. Also, we would mostly be exporting our ideology to capitalist nations, right? So
yeah, Matt was about that. Korean War, for example.
People of similar cultures should unite in federations or confederations.
Oh, hey, Taylor. You're in Paris?
I think people...
We're talking about Vaush here. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good day.
What does that mean? This is weird. This is a weird question to me. People of similar cultures... Don't get me wrong, I like federations, but this is like, why of similar cultures? Yeah, I don't like cultures on this one, Lexi.
It's Lexi.
Yeah, this seems to me...
Yeah, this is fun. I have fun making these. I'm glad. I hope I made a streamer yesterday that I think was a little bit more consistent. We've been jumping around all over the place. Well, we've only watched 2 different videos from Vaush today. I don't know if I've actually presented a better critique. Do you know very much about Vaush?
This could end up being like, this could be literally like Nas bullshit. This could be like, oh yes, well, white people should unite into a federation. Like, no, I don't think so. I'm gonna go with disagree. I think people with similar material interests should unite. Cultures? I want cultures to intermingle. Yeah, this gives me ethno-statey vibes. Disagree. The international proletariat belongs to no country.
Obviously.
This is meme language right here.
It is meme language.
Doesn't actually mean anything, but I agree with the sentiment very strongly. Yes. National liberation.
It's an oxymoronic resolution. They're by definition the international proletariat can only belong to the world collectively. No, not one country. Which country could the international proletariat ever belong to?
For all peoples is a good concept.
Yes.
Why you gotta put in...
Why or, though? I feel like national liberation and self-determination are opposed concepts, not unified concepts.
Why national liberation next to self-determination for people? I don't want countries.
Or national determination and self-determination. What is national liberation?
I'm going to go with a soft agree on this one. Because national liberation is better than not national liberation.
What is national liberation? Like the achievement of anti-imperialist self-determination in former colonial nations? I don't know.
Agree. I would be willing to sacrifice economic resources in my home country in order to help other countries. Yeah, absolutely. What? I'm not inherently worth more because I'm an American. Socialist political parties should participate in liberal democratic elections.
Obviously, yes.
Yes. Guys, listen, I do believe that a revolution is necessary to achieve socialism. However, getting socialism should form the base in class consciousness. Strongly agree. Trade unions.
Oh, geez, we still have a lot of this video.
Basis of a socialist society. True.
Oh God,
guys, hey, listen. Type 1 if you want trade unions and worker councils to form the base of social society. Type 2 if you want bureaucrats in a political party 1,000 miles away who can assign you to a workplace to be the basis of socialism. I'm seeing a lot of truers in chat.
Come on.
Flash Purge 2. The leadership...
I feel like we are kind of getting a little bit repetitive here.
Political parties and the progression towards socialism will always lead to authoritarianism. Wait. The leadership of political parties in the progression towards socialism, does this mean a vanguard party? Will always lead to authoritarianism. This seems like... I don't think it'll always lead to authoritarianism.
Oh, this is actually a really tough question for Vaush here, isn't it?
Yeah, this seems like it's about a vanguard party. I'm not actually, believe it or not, I'm not intrinsically opposed to vanguardism as a concept. What I have a problem with is when people treat vanguard parties like they're meant to lead the stupid, like, animal-like proletariat towards socialism. There are two types.
That's what the vanguardists think.
of like listen,
Might want to consider that.
there are like two types of vanguard parties, okay? There's vanguardism, which is like, hey, listen, the proletariat are stupid, they don't have class consciousness, they don't know what's best for them, we're going to lead them. And there are a lot of MLs who believe in the vanguard party that way. Most of them are tankies. But there's vanguardism, as described as, hey, we still exist in a transitory state. We're still in liberal democracy right now, or at least we're running up against a
This
dead
is not real.
So, to bring about a successful revolution, we, the representatives of the proletariat, we who have been elected, we who are representative of them, are going to sort of seize control of the existing political superstructure and break it down from within. We are the vanguard party, we are the front line, we will go in, we will break it down, we will make it for the people, and we will do it with the people. We are not.
This version of vanguardism, to my knowledge, and I'm not super educated on social revolutions, has never been implemented even one time. All vanguardism ends up being the former. And yeah, you actually really have to deal with the problem that Vaush isn't acknowledging at all, that the vanguardists end up shooting a lot of the idiots.
A separate class. We are merely the
and then they start shooting each other. Got to mention that delightful part of vanguardism.
Few of the proletariat who are tasked with this important job. That's how I've had originally. That's how I had vanguardism described to me, and I thought it was a good idea. But then other people started describing vanguardism, and they were like, "Well, the proletariat doesn't know what's best for them." So, like, I don't know. I'm going to go with.
I would just love a reference for that secondary form of vanguardism. Maybe it has occurred somewhere.
Because I think there were a lot of very valid interpretations of this question that I have different responses to.
Click agree.
Democratic centralism is an authoritarian organizational structure that disregards the masses.
This is one that I know that he doesn't.
Confused. It's more fucking the Leninist organizational system in which policy is decided centrally and binding in all.
Notice how Vaush has no fuck socialism. Hey man, hope you're having a good day. Socialism with a Z, by the way. You know very much about Vaush? Oh, Camp created 1 hour ago. Democratic centralism, we'll let him define it before I define it.
Democratic then, is it? Yeah, every time I hear democratic... Wait, guys, democratic centralism is a misnomer, right? It's not democratic in the slightest, right?
Are we just not going to do it? I was just waiting for chat to say what it is. So I would say that democratic centralism is communist decision by committee. So theoretically, if you're in Lenin's anarcho-capitalism for the win, dude, come on, anarcho-capitalism is not a very good ideology. Anyway, so democratic centralism is decision by committee in a communist country. So if the party is the only decision-making process, decision-making body, how does the party choose good decisions? Well, hypothetically, the system at the top is defined by Lenin and a bunch of people who all argue democratically at the top, vote on it, and decide the policy for the rest of the party, and then the rest of the party falls in line. So the democratic element is the initial vote that occurs at the top, and the central element is the spreading out of the party decision. I look like a soy boy? I'm not dark MAGA. What the fuck is dark MAGA?
The group democratically decides that
I'm Canadian.
Everyone else has to submit to it. Yeah, fuck this.
What do you look like?
Get out of here. Democracy within the party. Okay, fuck that.
You look like a Chad.
Workers' Party can achieve any
Me too.
long-term goals.
Socialism is the death of individual. Oh god, it's another true. Oh, that was the best one. Yeah.
Mass spontaneous actions are more effective than carefully planned.
I was going to rewind and hear that question, but I'm not going to subject either of you fine viewers to another true
actions. I said strongly agree to democratic centralism. No, I didn't. No, I said strongly agree that it's authoritarianism. I didn't say I strongly agree with it.
He's got to put strongly agree there too.
Mass spontaneous.
You look like Big Chungus. I'm glad, man. I'm glad. I hope that works out for you.
Than carefully planned actions. I could go either way on this one. Yeah, I'm kind of neutral on this one. Carefully planned actions, like carefully planned acts.
Yeah, this is a dumb question.
Or treason. can be really effective, but like giant protests can also be super effective, like the Hong Kong protests.
Your dark MAGA,
you know?
Nick Land, Boyd Rice, Donald Trump. What is dark MAGA?
I'll go neutral. I think they're both good.
Jordan Peterson is best son of Canada. Oh, are you Eastern European by chance, Miss Mimzizi? Oh, sorry, Mr. Mimzizi. I have noticed that I have an Eastern European appeal. I believe 1/3 of my audience is currently Eastern European.
Good. Change stream title? Oh yeah, I should.
We'll talk about Jordan Peterson a lot on this channel, actually, just not anytime soon. You're Georgian. Is Georgian Eastern European? Not really. It's in the Caucasus, isn't it? Like by Turkey? I'm sorry, I don't know where Georgia is, by the way. I'm just going to look it up right now. Oh, sweet, I got it.
The fact that so many workers vote for bourgeois parties over socialist parties is proof
Oh,
that
yeah,
party
I was right on the money.
politics are no longer relevant. Strongly disagree. It means the bourgeois parties are more successful in disseminating propaganda. It doesn't mean that they're no longer relevant. It means they're more relevant.
It's Cade, nobody
ever.
knows. What did Georgians think of Armenians? Or maybe I just didn't ask. Also, I missed that question.
The fact that so many workers vote for bourgeois parties over socialist parties is proof that party politics are no longer relevant. Strongly disagree. It means the bourgeois parties are more successful in disseminating propaganda. It doesn't mean that they're no longer relevant. It means they're more relevant than ever.
Dude, who the fuck are you talking to here, man?
Socialist organizations are generally better off when organized.
Dog MAGA 2024. Dude, I'm gonna fucking ban you from my chat if you don't say what your ideology is about and just fucking tweet. Hey, I don't want you to be the first ban of the chat, though, dude. But tell me about this Dog MAGA shit. Send me a... No, I was about to say send me a link. Don't send me a link. You are Dark MAGA. I've gathered that, good sir.
Loosely in
This is my ideology. Hit me, brother.
I will always take decentralization over centralization. Always, 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 always.
Dark MAGA. That's fucking funny.
Trade unionism has largely been corrupted by the working class and is no longer a viable structure for a
I wouldn't get it. You'd be surprised, man. You might be surprised.
Socialist.
I'm not a socialist. I'm a libertarian.
Organization? What? Existing trade unionism.
I lack will. Oh no, I lack virile. Do I lack virility? Is that what you're trying to say? You might want to spell your insults properly before you deliver them.
Maybe, but the concept of trade unionism has... Do they mean existing trade unions, which have been weakened tremendously?
I'm kind of losing the track on this test.
The concept of trade unions.
Oh, this is an interesting question for Vaush. Especially for someone who wants to decommodify labor without a centralized hierarchical system. I'm not spiritually connected to nature. No, I'm a right-leaning libertarian. I'm not spiritually connected enough to understand this, gentleman.
Corrupted by the ruling class, yeah. Yes, ruling class. Yes, I misspoke. Ruling class. Yes, we can all read. Thank you, ruling class.
Man, when Vaush has to answer any question about how he wants to establish his social society, he really struggles, eh?
I like trade unionism as a concept, but it's undeniably corrupted.
This is the only path that Vaush has to creating his system of decommodification, I think, is mass trade unionism that was spoken of in that syndicalist way earlier.
I'm going to go with soft disagree, because I don't know if it means the concept
How
of
else,
the way
man?
it exists today. Climate change is a major global threat that all socialists must fiercely combat. Yes, easily. Measures to address environmental issues are unacceptable if they
You heard about Canadian hospitality? You own my house, my car, and my leg. And we're pretty welcoming, nice people. I don't think you're wrong about that.
Result in significant decrease
Come and take
in
it.
production quality.
Do you want to see?
No, we can't half-ass the environment anymore. We can't do it anymore. No, strong disagree. Keep in mind the productive and quality of life consequences of global warming are going to outweigh any consequences of what we do to stop global warming. Strongly disagree.
That's funny.
It is foolish to expect renewable energy sources to be able to replace fossil fuels. What?
I mean, I'd say it depends on the time scale. Vaush is the most coherent leftist. Yeah, I kind of agree that Vaush might be the most coherent leftist. I call him the Ben Shapiro of the left for a reason.
No. No, it's not. We can absolutely do it if we invest in it hard enough. Also, we need nuclear.
I kind of get the feeling you don't like left. Ben Shapiro is left. Oh, Badger 6 coming in hot. Stirring the tea in the chat.
We need nuclear power. Yeah, we need nuclear, gang.
Ben Shapiro's left. Are you the Dark Mega guy? Yeah, the Dark Mega guy thinks Ben Shapiro's a leftist. Unsurprising. Is Ben Shapiro spiritually connected enough to understand your ideological positions? Is he virile enough?
Well, we could do it. I want to say, by the way, guys, there's this meme amidst capitalists where, like, every problem in society, they'll be like, oh, well, innovation will fix it. Like, okay, fuck you. But I do believe very strongly in innovation. We've done some like wild shit.
What am I not saying? That's not a word. He has will. What is vril? Did I just utter some hate speech? Is that what I just did? I'm not going to look it up. Might be dangerous.
As humans, I really do believe that if we get over these few humps, one of which is capitalism, I do genuinely believe that we can make...
Oh, dude, yeah, clearly he's a troll. You gotta have fun with the trolls.
We can really do it. I have a lot of faith in the innovative power of human beings. I have a lot of respect for how intelligent we are. Maybe it's because I just finished reading the Dr. Stone manga, so now I'm all so now I'm all hyped up on science. Industrialized farming practices must be abolished even if it leads to lower outputs. What? Why would we want to abandon industrialized farming?
To reduce the damage to animals and stop climate change, Vaush. You just said that the consequences of climate change are so dramatic that it doesn't matter, that it justifies anything. And clearly we need to end farming to reduce our carbon output.
I don't get it. What's wrong with industrialized farming? No, industrialized farming doesn't just mean like animals.
Dude, you do not have a very qualified vocabulary.
It also means the
I gotta say
plants, right? I don't give a fuck how we farm plants as long as we get as many as possible.
Dude, he's a dark cell sigma, guys.
It will be important to...
Dude, he's unironically shitposting. This has to be just a regular old shitpost to distract me from the stream. I'm not gonna ban you, dude. You're fun. You're fun. Maybe I could time you out. I'm not gonna even time you out, dude. I'm glad you're here. Maybe you should consider following, though. Maybe you could impart some of your Sigma spiritual energy onto the stream, and I could finally understand your politically enlightened ways. Oh no, you're not gonna follow me? That's okay, man. I'm not sure I want that dark mega presence on my page.
Of achieving socialism.
My ABI sucks.
A big part. Socialism.
I am Canadian.
Means worker-owned means of production. That's what it means. There are still going to be market failures that need to be.
What's ABI? Damn, we are getting some wild people in the chat today. Oh, it's a profile picture because I'm a huge fan of Teddy Roosevelt.
Accounted for.
He's an excellent. He's a pretty good president. I'm not sure if I'm going to say he's an excellent president, but he also had a very admirable philosophy of life. He's a leftist. Yes, Teddy Roosevelt is a progressive.
Experimental, environmentally friendly.
He's not a dark mega spiritualist like yourself.
Food sources like cultured meat are worth investing in. Yeah, totally. Wait, 100%. Yeah. Personal motor vehicles such as cars should be replaced with free public transport. Yes, 100%. Bring back the train.
I have seen the epic rap battle of Teddy Roosevelt and Winston Churchill. More than a few times, actually. I have to say. You're a post-spiritualist. Excuse me, sir. The Dark Mega post-spiritualist. Who thinks that Ben Shapiro is a leftist?
It is acceptable for humanity to suffer to some notable extent in order to preserve the natural ecosystem.
Oh, dude, I have a really good question for you. Who is a better president? George Washington or Donald Trump? Just hit me with it. I'm really interested to hear your opinion. I'd put Washington above Trump.
Yeah, define suffer here. I don't care about like the environment being how it was before we got here. I mean, I want to preserve biodiversity.
I think George Washington was a better president than Abe Lincoln, but Abe Lincoln is probably the second best president in United States history.
Yeah, soft agree. Heavily loaded question. We must.
Sorry, I missed that.
Soft agree. Heavily loaded.
So it's necessary for humanity to suffer to establish the socialist revolution, but not to stop climate change.
Question. We must radically alter our food consumption in order to limit the exploitation of nature. Yeah. Soft agree.
Didn't you just disagree with that food thing like 2 questions ago?
Radically, I don't want us to all eat bugs. I'm not eating bugs. Guys, I'm not on the bug eating train. I'm not eating bugs. I don't give a fuck. I have guns. You fucking jackbooted thugs will have to come to my house and force me to eat guns. I'll fucking blast in Minecraft. I'm not eating bugs.
Click agree, Vaush. I mean, that's actually hypocritical. He should click disagree. Vaush has to eat the bugs. Oh, hey, thanks for tuning in, man. I hope you have a good afternoon. Oh shit, we're up to 5 viewers now.
Human
so let's do numbers, folks.
Must be curbed to prevent an ecological disaster. I disagree with this. The fear of overpopulation.
This is right, but I'm surprised that Vaush disagrees. Ronald Reagan destroyed the USSR. I respect him for that. I do respect him for that too. Oh no, he didn't. Bush did. I would say that the policies that were most effective in dismantling the Soviet Union were put in place under the Reagan administration, unquestionably. What do you think that Bush did to destroy the Soviet Union that Reagan did not do? I would also say that to destroy the Soviet Union, Ronald Reagan took the United States from the world's largest creditor nation to the world's largest debtor nation and fatally wounded it in the process. Ronald Reagan strengthened the USSR's geopolitical position. Well, I would really love to hear your explanation.
Largely bourgeois, or not bourgeois, sorry. It's largely imperialist. Yeah, overpopulation is a myth. So I'll go with soft disagree here, just because there is a hard cap on how many humans can be on this planet. I don't think that if we achieved
what hard cap?
Socialism and everyone had like a bunch of.
Reagan is a closeted communist, like all of the pinkos in Hollywood. Don't know what a pinko is. Hope I just didn't utter some more hate speech on stream. I muted Vaush. Maybe we should keep the rest of the stream muted.
So
Sorry.
Population as a.
I know I said I was supposed to do this with an open mind.
Description is a myth. Overpopulation as a prescription is something to be avoided. So
what is the hard cap, by the way? I'm really interested to hear Vaush say what the maximum population of the Earth is.
I'm going to go with soft disagree. I overthink every question, K-Prime. Some small-scale destruction of nature is acceptable if it notably benefits humanity. And I agree with this, too. And I do believe that some small-scale I do agree with that to some extent. I'll go with a soft agree.
Meanwhile, Trudeau is an open communist, coming in with the red hot takes. Not stopping. We got some real interesting folks today in chat. Justin Trudeau Castro.
Humanity must return to the primitive ways of the past to avoid long-term climate issues. Strong disagree.
Dude, what the fuck is up with the last part of this stats?
We could fix what's going wrong right now. All we need to do is apply our resources properly. We must accept that.
He's got to use the sociological imagination, folks.
The socialist states of the 20th century failed to seriously address environmental issues. Yeah, for sure, right?
Is it cold now in Canada? No, it's actually quite warm. Last month we had a real bad cold snap, but otherwise it's been quite warm.
Didn't the USSR and Mao's China, didn't they do like nothing to deal with environmental degradation because they were so busy industrializing? Yeah, we have to accept that. Yeah, 100%.
Wow. Not what I thought I would see from Vaush. You aren't doing a good service to the libertarian cause by sitting on your ass and doing nothing? What are you doing, dude? How have you served the libertarian cause?
Everyone did, including them. Yeah. Oh wait, did I phrase that properly? We must accept it. Yeah, strongly agree. Yeah.
Also, I'm making political commentary on the internet, sir, and I'm running a political platform that you are free to read. The YouTube channel link down below. Before you tell me that I'm sitting on my ass and doing nothing. Why don't you go join the Azov Battalion? Damn, dude. You think the best way to serve the libertarian cause is not advocating for your political views online, not advocating for your political policy online, but fighting with the Azov Battalion in Ukraine. That's interesting, man. In childhood, I was watching a cartoon about Canadian kids. Andy Larkin. There was a place called East Geckley. Is that a real place, by the way? Never heard of it.
The oppression of LGBTQ plus people is a major issue, needs to be seriously addressed. Yep, easy. Traditional, we're on the progressive scale of questions. Traditional gender roles, such as women being housemakers, need to be overcome. Yup. Marriage is a patriarchal social construct that should be phased out. Yup. Abortion is an immoral act that should be banned or significantly limited.
Bernier has extremely online base and he still loses. How is being online going to make you win? Bernier loses because he's an idiot and a terrible politician. I can't. That's funny, man. That's funny.
Nope. Religions overall have a mostly positive effect, should remain influential in society. Nope. Ethnic minorities should be considered equal to the majority population. Yup. What is this, like a Nosbold test? A socialist government has no right to disrupt religious or cultural traditions in any situation.
I disagree, Vaush.
I don't like the.
Am I in favor of mandatory vaccinations? No. Actually, Canada's government is terrible too. Yeah, well, let's see. Would I say that we have a terrible government? No, I'd say we have a top 10 government. We have one of the best governments in the world. Is it great? No. Most governments are bad.
Government?
Let's make our government better.
Disrupting traditions. Yeah, I don't want the government to be able to march on in and go like, fuck yeah.
Am I in favor of COVID restrictions? I would say no.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a soft.
Not in favor of mandatory masking or mandatory vaccination.
Disagree on this one. I think some traditions, maybe, like, I don't know.
Ken Bernier is my only choice. I didn't actually vote for Bernier or Aaron O'Toole.
Pissing and shitting.
And he's a terrible politician.
And coming and farting.
Who will never, ever win. Ever. A single seat. Even if the PPC does win a single seat in Parliament, which they never, ever will, Maxime Bernier refuses to run in any other riding than his old Conservative riding in Vaush, where he's getting blown out. Just blown out by the Conservative candidate. So even if the PPC gets elected in a single riding, their own leader won't be able to run in the party. It'll be the person who wins will become the new party leader, and that'll be that. Except that person will never win because the PPC will never win.
On 6-year-old girls every Sunday, that's probably bad. But yeah, no. People should have a right to practice their culture.
There will be a purple wave if we all did our part. You are failing us. You are failing us, brother, I'm afraid.
Prisons are oppressive and antiquated institutions that need to be abolished. Wait, guys, hold on. Right now, no. Wait, hold on. Prisons are horrible.
My dream is to see all religions banned in the world. Damn, we got some real gems in the chat today. That would be the happiest day of my life. Yeah, I don't think we should ban all religions on Earth. I think that everyone should believe what they want. But that's just me. That's just me, man. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, I really don't care what your beliefs are.
I have never heard a good argument for abolishing them.
You're not failing anyone. You're preaching pragmatic Napoleonism. We should ditch the Queen. I love the Queen.
Never heard a good argument for abolishing prisons.
Well, if you want to abandon the Queen and establish Napoleonism, how will we replace the Queen with Napoleonism? I'm a fake libertarian. You just identified as a Napoleonist, and you believe that you have the consistent libertarian position. Religion is hurting everybody. Yes, religion has large negative costs. We'll talk about religion's effects on society later We're about to finish this video.
Yeah, you can call them a rehabilitative center if you want to.
Oh, okay, excuse me. I'm not. You're not a libertarian. I didn't mean to speak for you there, man.
Replaced with re-education centers? I would rather have a prison than a re-education center. Jesus Christ. Yeah, there are people who can't be rehabilitated.
Okay, dark MAGA is not an ideology, or it is an ideology that you have failed to describe, and I believe I've asked you 3 times now. So if you want to elucidate your ideology, I'm happy to hear it. Oh wait, I'm not spiritual or real enough to understand it.
Why do we need prisons? Because there are murderers and rapists? These people actually exist, you know. Kropotkin said,
maybe you're failing your cause by not elucidating your ideology and telling me to research it.
Prisons don't help to rehabilitate people, so they'll reoffend. Some people will reoffend no matter what. Yeah, guys, there are just some really bad people in the world. Not intrinsically, but there are just some really bad people. Re-education facilities would also contain the worst people. I don't want people to be re-educated by the state as a prerequisite for them being free again. That's not hard. Why would I want that? Abolish prisons and...
Maybe I should start gathering real instead of gathering dicks in my ass. I don't know, man. I like what I'm doing. You seem to like what you're doing, so maybe we should just both stick to our own paths, and I should ban you from my Twitch chat. But I'm actually going to let you stick around, because I'm such a nice guy, and I enjoy watching you go off.
Try to rehabilitate? No. How do you can't rehabilitate without threat of violence. Yes, guys.
Getting dicks in my ass? That's funny, man.
Very reformed. I want them to be rehabilitative. I want them to
What is Brill? I'm sorry. This stream completely ditched away from Vaush and is now gone into the investigation of this Georgian guy and this dark MAGA guy.
Sane and safe and humane. I want prison to be a place where people can grow and learn from their mistakes. But the idea that, like, all prisons should be abolished? I've never heard a good argument for that. I always say, like, well, what about the rapists and murderers? Like, these people actually do exist. These are real people that exist. There are people who are just fucked in the head and will just hurt other people. They really do exist. And then the person who...
Man, I totally believe in free speech. Do I believe in free speech on my Twitch chat? I'm totally happy to kick out someone who is annoying me, especially considering they can't establish the ideology of their position at all. Banning me would contradict the libertarian position of advocating for people to be able to voice their opinions freely. I totally advocate for people to voice their opinions freely in society. You are annoying me, so I can get rid of you. It's really that simple.
Who's talking to me, who's usually, like, wildly far to the left of me, will then go and say, like, well, you know, in olden times, tribes would use social ostracization or exile as a way of... What the fuck are you talking about? You want to just socially ostracize murderers? Okay. You want to just... What the fuck does that mean? Exile? Doesn't that mean condemning a person to death? Is that like a... I've unironically heard exile being put up as an example. What the fuck does that mean?
Wait, is this like a 10-minute prison Stunlock?
Or to another city? So you just export the problem to a different...
Okay.
Oh, fuck it. Mass foreign immigration policies are naive and should not be implemented. Wait, what?
This is another Stunlock too, isn't it?
Answer this question. What policies?
Yeah.
Wait, policies to let them in? Or
this is a bad question.
Policies to keep them out? What does this mean?
You're too esoteric and dark cell for me to get it. Maybe I should just take the red pill?
I literally don't understand. I actually literally do not understand what this question is.
Can I ask how old you are, man? It's just a personal question. I'm just kind of interested. I kind of get the impression that you are hopefully a younger gentleman.
I assume because it says naive, that by mass foreign immigration policies, they mean letting
20?
people
yeah.
in.
2 years younger than
That's my guess. Have a degree. Progress because you're elevating one of the most oppressed classes.
You can't achieve a socialist society without also making significant social progress. Yeah, click agree, Vaush.
The worker. So, Yeah, I agree. Soft agree. Let's see. All right, let's do it. Very revolutionary, very scientific.
Wait, did he get centralized? I know he got
Decentralist. I actually
decentralized.
expected
Okay,
to
good.
be much more decentralist than this. Very internationalist. I expected that as well.
I'm 22.
Apparently, I lean more towards party than union. Really? I That doesn't seem right. I don't think that's reflective of my values. Some questions
Excuse
you
me.
answered disagree when you meant agree. Fuck, I'm a tanky. No, I'm anti-union.
Oh no, Vaush lost his fucking. I don't even know what he wants to be. But just like I lost my libertarian card. That's funny.
Might as well fucking roll with it. Guys, socialism never meant seizing the means of production for fucking for workers, okay? It always meant state control of industry. Time for me to ban myself. I actually can't ban myself. I've tried doing that before. I banned Hyena one time and it banned me because it's an IP ban and we're on the same IP address. Anyway, I'm very ecological, which is, I guess, good.
He believes in
And I'm
council
very progressive.
communism.
How am I any conservative? I'm a
All the perks of being gay will be over for you when you turn 25. I actually have a girlfriend. Thank you for asking. But you I really don't know how to respond to that, man. All of the perks of being gay will be over for you when you're 25. I think I just put that.
communism.
What's up with the lisp? Fake cell? You are an interesting guy, man.
Council communism is a form of Marxism that advocates for worker councils being the core foundation of a socialist society. Well, I completely agree with that. Wait, if I believe worker councils are the core foundation, then why am I more party than union? What is a worker council but a union?
I'll never be a true cell. I think you can tell that really fucks me up. Here, man. I can't believe I'll never be a true cell. It breaks my heart that I can't be based in red pill like yourself. All right, actually, we're pretty much done with this test, and I think we ought to be done with the stream. Sorry things got so off track there at the end. I really do enjoy talking with chatters, and yeah, I got a little bit carried away. I know that we're supposed to be talking about Vaush, and I really don't think we've been talking about Vaush for like the past half hour. No Vril, not on the red pill overdose, not Dark Maga. He put it very well. Oh, you can't actually see that in the chat. I'll add a chat window for my face cam next time. No Vril, not on the red pill overdose, not Dark Maga. Good stream, especially in the beginning. Oh, thanks, man. Well, I'm really glad you all tuned in here. Maybe we'll play some Rome 2 later after I take a break. Yeah, I hope you guys had fun watching. Please, if you're interested, check out the YouTube channel that I have linked down below to see how see if I have any Vril, if you'd like to investigate further. Anyway, I hope you had a great day, and we'll be seeing each other later.